The Senior Bowl is here. It's here. It's finally here. Yesterday, all these guys got measured. We're going to go over winners, losers. But what's crackin'-lackin'? It's your boy, Broshmo, just in case you did not know. So go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave that thumbs up if you enjoy the content. And let me know what you think in the comment section below. We will have the East-West Shrine Bowl, their practice. Some of the guys that I think have stood out tomorrow. And again, Mock the Mocks will be going out throughout the week. We're going to keep pumping out Senior Bowl content throughout the week. Very busy week. Very, very busy. And then soon after, I will have my new prospect rankings. But let's go ahead, do the gosh darn diggity darn thing. And I want to start at the running back position with Damien Pierce, because he came in 5'9", 220. I love that size, that small center of gravity, dude. It was a big reason why I liked Khalil Herbert, and he's looked pretty good in Chicago when David Montgomery went down. Pierce, similar size in that regard, similar type, being a kind of like again kind of more compact, but they're two vastly different prospects. While I would say Pierce, he's not this long like this home run long speed type of guy. He's explosive. He's no nonsense, north-south runner. Likes to lay the lumber, shrugs off contact. Very good receiver. Probably one of the better receiving backs in this class, as well as probably one of the better pass protecting backs in this class. I'm very intrigued. He definitely, among all the running backs, probably, I think, stood out the most during weigh-ins. And keep in mind with weigh-ins, measurements and all that the most important aspect is going to be the one-on-ones. It's going to be the practice. For some of these guys, it's going to be during the game. Looking at the measurements, it's nice to see, some of the upside on these guys. But again, there needs to be some performance. There needs to be some production behind that type of upside. But Damien Pierce definitely initially was probably the one when I went through the measurements for running backs I was the most excited about. Going to the receiving class, I'm talking about Beau Milton out of Rutgers, because this cat has, for 5'11", 191, huge arms, the length, 32. That's way bigger than I expected. It's not the biggest among this class, but for 5'11", I think that was very impressive. This cat had to deal with a lot of inaccurate passes there at Rutgers. He was primarily kind of this vertical threat, and I mean, I'm sort of expecting this guy to do pretty well. And when we get into some of the losers of the of the measurements, you're gonna see why I'm starting to really get behind Beau Milton, because he's got good tape there at Rutgers. But yeah, impressive wingspan for a cat his size. And then going to the offensive line, Dylan Parham, a cat that I was worried about being super undersized, and he comes in 30 pounds more than listed when he was at Memphis. He was listed at 285. I think he was listed at 6 foot or 6 foot. I think 6 foot, 6'1". Comes in 6'2", 313. I'm impressed, because this guy, among the best movers in this class, super athletic, but the arms, the wingspan, the hands are huge. This I'm gonna say it, because they're tigers. So this cat, I'm very impressed by the weigh-in. Makes me think, yeah, this guy can hold up in the NFL. He's gonna be flying up my board just from this measurement, as long as everything looks great in the one-on-ones, which based on his film, that should be fine. Again, lower level of competition, though. He's going to be facing a much stiffer competition, but I came away very wowed, very impressed. And then we're going to continue along the offensive line. Marquis Haynes. This dude I already have like a day 2 grade on. Typically, I'm not a big fan of these phone booth defenders, but he really stuck out there at Oklahoma. 6'4", 318, but the 83-inch wingspan, the 35-inch arm length. It's like, man, Like, I don't know. I don't think he could hold up at a tackle position, but guard, holy moly, man. Like, watch out. Like, like, those are impressive length if you're a tackle. 35-inch arms. Just nuts. So I'm excited to see more from him this week. I think he's going to probably cement that day 2 grade that I currently have on him. And then going to the tackles, Braxton Jones, the Southern Utah tackle. I've talked about him a little bit on the channel. When it's come to like going against like FBS competition, it wasn't necessarily like he had a good outing against San Jose State this year, and then Arizona State things kind of came back to earth. But he had by far the biggest wingspan, the longest arms, 36-inch arms, absolutely ridiculous. I can't wait to watch more from him as the week goes on. So yeah, super impressed with his weigh-in. Some of these guys came in with pretty good length. We're gonna go through it all, so hang with me here. And then going to the defense, Perrion Winfrey, impressive. He broke that 300 mark that I typically like to see for defensive linemen, more so the interior, obviously, but broke that 300 mark, and that was kind of big because Oklahoma, they didn't like to use him as a run defender. And him coming in, passing that at 303, and then coming in with the ridiculous length. We already know he's a very explosive athlete. Oh, man. And I was just starting to move him downboards. Probably going to be a second rounder. I kind of had him as maybe early third round. Probably back in the second round conversation. Very impressive. We know what he can do as a pass rusher, and I think he's going to make a lot of money this week. And then at edge, Jermaine Johnson. A lot of y'all are big fans of Jermaine Johnson, and he came in a lot freakier than I thought. I didn't think he was going to have 34-inch arms. I thought, if anything, arm length might have been a problem because he's got such big arms. It makes him look small. It makes him look short. But no, the wingspan's huge. Looking great. He has the production from this past year. Now, just a few questions. Will he be as explosive as some of the other edge talent? Because there's a lot of good edge talent at the Senior Bowl here this year. But yeah, Jermaine Johnson, he could definitely, he's already kind of cemented as a second rounder, flirting around with a first round grade. He could kind of jump into that next tier. Maybe we start talking about him in the same vein as we do David Ajabo or George Karlaftis. Very impressive. And then I want to talk about my boy. Y'all know I've been high on him all year. Kingsley Nagbari JJ, but I'm going to call him Kingsley because that's a cooler name. Coming in with the 35-inch arms, 83 and 5/8 wingspan, big hands, 6'3", 261. He's not going to be he's not explosive. He's not going to be the best athlete of the bunch, but he's physical. He's violent. He has some of the best hand usage here at the Senior Bowl. I can't wait to see him in one-on-ones. The measurements came in, looked beautiful. Good for you, Kingsley. Good for you, my friend. And then there wasn't too much of the linebacker position. We'll talk about a couple of losers, but guys came in looking decent. So let's go ahead, jump to the safety group. Kirby Jones has ridiculous length. Oh my goodness. He is going to be maybe a potential hot riser in the Senior Bowl. I kind of have him as this early third round or late third round, early day 3 grade. But coming in with a 33-inch wingspan, it doesn't surprise me because he's able to cover a lot of ground, and he's able to consistently contest the catch point. So, yeah, him coming in, measuring better than some of the safeties in this class doesn't surprise me. I think he could end up being also a huge riser. And then at the corner position, by far, Tyrique Sullivan came in weighing the best. 6'3", 205, 33.5-inch arms, the biggest of any of the corners. 79-inch wingspan. We know he made Bruce Feldman's Freaks list at the beginning of the year. The production has been it's been good. It could be better. It's not as good as some of the production, some of the other guys in this class. He might be a bit more of a work in progress, but athletically, physically, dare I say, this cat has it. I can't wait to see him in the one-on-ones. Definitely, man. I'm super stoked. So let's go ahead, get into some of my losers. I'm going to just go over the whole list of measurements because I can't be making too many overlays. I got a lot of things I'm doing. I'm trying to get a lot of videos out to you, so this is just going to save me a little bit of time. As for the quarterbacks, they all measured in a bit shorter than I anticipated. A lot of them, like Willis, Howell, Zapp, they were measured they were listed at 6'1". They come in measuring 6 foot. It is what it is. Pickett didn't have his hands measured. Not a surprise, but let's see how he looks during the walkthroughs today in practice, and then the actual practices, the more in depth on Wednesday and Thursday. Those are the ones I can't wait for. The tallest ended up being Carson Strong. Doesn't surprise me. Going to the running backs, Brian Robinson. It didn't surprise me coming away and all hefty. But I'm here to talk about some of these losers. And to be fair, I gotta watch Devontae Price. I have only seen a very little bit of him, but he comes in looking more like a receiver than a running back. I don't know how he holds up around the line of scrimmage. That's kind of my question, because he's for being 6'1", you want to hit that 200 threshold. Maybe this is a guy that could only be used in an outside zone, wide zone blocking scheme. Maybe it's a guy you want to get out in space. So that's just he was one of the ones I kind of have a question mark about. But again, a guy that I need to watch. I wouldn't necessarily call him a loser, which that's harsh anyway. But definitely he came in with a very intriguing weigh-in. There's Tyler Batty, but we knew he was going to be small. It would have been nice if he could get over that 200. If he's going to be small or short, then be very compact. So getting maybe 200, 210 be nice. And then going to the receivers, not many losers here, but there is one I really want to talk about. First off, Danny Gray comes in way smaller than he is listed at. I was actually just talking to Alex from the Hail Mary podcast about this, because he goes to SMU, and because Danny Gray, he was listed as 6'2", comes in measuring at 5'11". He was listed close to 200, over 200 pounds, 182, a lot smaller than I anticipated. Dontario Drummond looks like a running back at receiver, and I love it. Then Tolbert coming in with good length. Khalil Shakir, let me tell you, I knew measurements weren't gonna matter with him. The arm length is subpar. We knew from 6 foot, 193. We know he's not gonna be the most athletic. The thing is, this guy's a phenomenal route runner. That's how he gets separation. He's very crafty. So I don't think this hurts him at all. But I kind of expected that. Trey Turner was one I was kind of beat up about. Coming in at 179. Bit of a stick. That's what I'm kind of worried and concerned about. And the arm length at only 30, almost 31 inches. But being at 6'1", I kind of expected it to be closer to 30, 31 and a half, 32. Not necessarily a death nail by any means. Again, the practices, the one-on-ones, those are going to have a bit more weight to it in terms of their draft stock. But one I was definitely a little bit sad about. No surprise that Charles Collier has ridiculous length. Same with Cole Turner. That was actually pretty impressive. Nothing really to speak of the tight ends. Actually, no. Isaiah Likely. Listen, we knew a lot of people thought he was going to come in a lot smaller than 6'4", 240. And he comes in weighing a pound heavier than listed. He is 6'4" indeed. The length is good. I like to see that. I'm happy to see that, because I'm very high. I think he's tight end 2 for me right now. Jeremy Rucker just looks like an absolute monster. Trey McBride coming in over 10 pounds under than what I expected. Let's see if that does anything. More so in the blocking drills. That's what I'm more concerned about. Not even concerned, but what I'm more intrigued about. But there's Dylan Parham looking like a monster. Let's see. I know with a lot of a lot of these offensive tackles have a better length than I expected to. Bernhard Ryman, I knew the measurements weren't going to be insane. Like, I'm glad he hit the 33-inch arm threshold for a lot. Again, arm length doesn't necessarily matter. Penny Sewell and Rashawn Slater both had sub 33-inch arms, and they had fantastic rookie seasons. 304, we did know he was going to come in lighter than some of the guys here, but it's really going to be the one-on-ones I'm intrigued about. Caden Mays, he came in looking like a tackle. He's not going to be a tackle. He's probably going to be a guard in the NFL. But him and Chris Paul, too. Chris Paul, 34-inch arms. I'm a big fan of Chris Paul. CP3. Daniel Falele looking like an absolute mammoth. I mean, I'm here talking like all these guys are winners, man. But like this class did come in looking exceptionally long, if you know what I'm saying. Ha ha. I'm really trying to focus on maybe losers. You got Max Mitchell, 299, sub 300. Will it be a concern? We'll find out this week. Nick, I'm not gonna butcher the last name. The Fordham product came in with sub 33-inch arms, so that's something to note. Spencer Burford, a guy that might end up being a guard, but he came in with the good arm length. So among the offensive linemen, not many hits. Like there's not many losers when it comes to the offense. It's really the defense where you start to see some guys like, oh man, like Haskell Garrett coming in sub 300, less than ideal, but explode. Like he's more of like this twitchy athlete. So it's not a death nail, but I don't think he's a day 2 guy. Nick Farrell, man, he came in a lot more stubby than I anticipated. There at 31-inch arms. Travis Jones, he could have made the winners if Winfrey wasn't just ridiculous. But yeah, no, he came in looking good. It's mainly these edge rushers. You can see some of them coming in light. Barno was a guy that does need to put on weight, coming in sub 40. Not great, not good. You at least want, at the bare minimum, you want these guys to be closer to 245. A lot of these guys hit that 33-inch, which is nice to see. And then again, D'Angelo Malone was a guy we knew was going to be below 240. He just looks smaller on tape. Let's see here. See, I thought Jesse Luketa was actually going to test out with the linebackers, but no, it looks like he's like full-fledged. I'm going to be going with the pass rushers. I mean, which is fine. He was mainly used as a pass rusher this season, but he was a bit lighter during the year. Kyron Johnson was a late add, and I hope he doesn't work out with the edge talent. He definitely should be an off-ball linebacker. Here's probably a loser. Here's Myjah Sanders. I thought he would have been closer to 250. He's here at 242. Again, not a death nail, but he does play more of a he was playing more of a traditional 5-tech, at least in 2020 for Cincinnati. I expected more length. I thought he was going to be up there with guys like Jermaine Johnson and Kingsley Enagbare. Ended up coming in with actually one of the smaller measurements, so I was a bit surprised by that. Some of the linebackers, like Brian Asamoah, we knew he was going to be small, but I thought he'd be closer to 230. But you see that wingspan. The guy has been physical for Oklahoma in the middle, so he just needs to show that in the game. That's really when you're going to see it. These linebackers is in-game scenarios. You don't really see that during. Same with running backs. You won't really see what these guys have to offer. Well, I mean, at least you will with the linebackers in coverage, but not like what they can do as a run defender really until the game. So I'm expecting Asamoah to at least be fine in that regard. There's a typo here with Tyndall. They listed his hand size with his arm length. Let's see where yet. All right, Terrell Bernard. This was a cat I wanted to mention. We knew he was going to be small. He's the smallest of the bunch when it comes to this linebacker class. 220, barely cracking 220. 6 foot. The length ain't great. he is probably going to be flirting. Like, I initially had him as a midday 3. Might be flirting with, like, that size. If he doesn't, like, he should produce. Like, dude's been a very physical player at Baylor. He's been good in coverage, but he's really going to have to, like, show out this week to, like, really elevate his stock for maybe to closer to a 5th, 4th round. Right now, at that size, it's just like, I don't know if that's going to be good enough for the NFL. And then going to the secondary, I like Caleb Evans came in looking good, size-wise, length-wise. I don't think he's probably going to be one of the worst, not worst athletes, probably one of the worst athletes at the corner position. Not to say like that's a bad thing. Like, he's pretty athletic, but just it's physicality is going to be his game. Lante Taylor, I was expecting to come in with greater arm length because he wears these stupid like bands during games. So you know how horizontal stripes just makes your arms look longer. So I expected a much bigger wingspan from him. There is a big loser here, though. I will say that. Kobe Bryant came in with shorter arms than anticipated. Like, you really don't want to be sub 31 inch at corner. But you really, like, if you're sub 30 inch, that's really dangerous. And we do have a guy that came in with that. Oh, dude, I'm so excited for Jalen Petrie. He's one of my favorite prospects in this class. Let's see. I was actually just talking about him last night with somebody. Where are you at? Should be coming up. There we go. Roger McCreary. A lot of people have him as a first rounder. He came in with 29.25 inch arms. Not even close to 30. He's closer to 29. Will that be a problem for him this week in the one-on-ones? I don't know. That might take him out of the first round. I'm gonna be straight honest with y'all. Really might take him out of the first round. That, like, corner, there's like a very few exceptions in the league when it comes to that arm length that are sub 30 inch. Very few exceptions. So will he be able to hang on the outside? So I really think that might take him out of the first. That was one I saw and I was like, oh, jeez, no. Tyreek Carpenter, I mean, this guy's a box only anyway, but shoot, coming in looking thick. Looking thick. Good for you, man. Good for you. Corker came in a bit smaller. The length wasn't nearly as impressive as I thought it'd be, but another guy that's probably one of the better box only safeties in this class. But yeah, that's about all I got for you. There were a few losers in the measurements, but overall this class measured out pretty darn well. But that's it for the video. Go ahead, do that YouTube thing. It's always much appreciated, much obliged, and until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.